But Raccoona, so like when reviewing yourself and I just personally me, like it's like when you have a conversation with yourself, like in your own head, and like it's like bam, you already like bam, I had a paragraph in my head, I understood it. All right, whatever, next thing, like go on, I already know, like come on, hurry, and like that's what's kind of going on in your head. So when you watch a review of yourself, at least this is what happens to me. Sometimes it's like I know what happened. Like, I know what I did here. Yeah, whatever. Like, fucking next. Like, yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, whatever. Next. I know. I remember this. Yeah, cool. Next. Yeah, that's how I feel, and it's essentially it's because I don't know what it is. It's because you experience that moment when you look at it back again. You're like, I know this memory. Yes, I don't need to watch this, therefore you just skip it. And now the truth is maybe you don't know that memory, right? So if you want to, and I always like the term yolk. So the term yolk, I learned it from yoga, which literally, like, I think that's where the word yoga is derived from. But a yoke is the thing on an ox, that big, like, U-shaped thing, that essentially pulls them in the right direction. And every time they're off a little bit, they get fucking pulled in the right direction. That is not where yoga is derived from. That is very much not. I think the word comes from somewhere. But, nonetheless, I think the term yoke means to correct slightly over like a long period of time. At least that's like its practical use. So the idea is, even though you're watching yourself and you understand it conceptually, what you need to do is it's fucking dry ass like beep boop protocol. Sit yourself down, and this is the workflow I do. Whenever you're about to start a situation, and probably start at like 5-10 seconds when you actually think it starts, start the situation and go, all right, what did I think was going to happen? Okay, write it down. What actually happened? Write that down. Now, why did I think what I thought was going to happen? Right? Like, it's... Alright, so like, I thought I was not going to get shot by the McCree, and I was going to move across this closed-in area. McCree shot me once, which, you know, I was going to just peek and do damage over here, but that didn't happen, and because I took extra damage there, I didn't get healed in time, and when I was in the open for that second peek, I took critical damage and died. I thought this was going to happen. I thought, like, I wasn't going to get shot, or I thought I was going to get healed. Basically, what in your head thought, well, you know, why did you do what you were going to do? And then, like, then you're like, alright, so this is what actually happened. Now, why did that happen? Like, why was there a difference between A and B? What did I think was going to happen? What actually happened, and why was there a difference? What didn't I calculate? But you have to make this a protocol. I don't care if you're like, I know exactly what happened, I know blah 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 blah. You have to go, fuck it. For every single fight, do this for in a match to review yourself. Like, sit your ass down, write it out, just do it. I will also say, writing out things is very, very important. When I was in college, my professor, like, people weren't taking notes, and I always took notes. He's like, look, guys, he goes, fucking humor me. He goes, just today, write your fucking notes. I want everyone to write down what I'm saying and just take notes. He's like, when you start writing something, there is something that the brain remembers things better when you write it down. And it's probably just like an action of repetitiveness, meaning like, you're repeated in here, well now I'm repeating in here, and I look at it and it's a third repetition of what I'm transcribing. So, that you can do it like that hardcore, and that would be good practice. And like that's good practice for life in general. Is what did I think was going to happen? Like, what did I do? What did I think was going to happen? Why did it happen that way? And like, how did I misinterpret what happened for me to arrive at the other conclusion? So, you know, you can do that and do it for every fight just to make yourself very structured, very formal. And, you know, I think once you start doing that enough and you reviewed enough of your games, I think there's going to be some points in your play where you're just like, you're going to be playing and you're not going to understand, but you're just going to be like, I've seen the situation before, don't do this. I can't do this, I have to do something else. And you're not going to understand it fully, and when people are like, well, why'd you do that? And you're just like, Sixth Sense. And really, in Dota they call it, and I hate this, they call it Starsense, but basically it's just this conceptual thing of, this is how the game works, and these are the patterns, and these are the things, and it's just like a whole bunch of subtle things that in the back of your brain you're just like, this is happening, I have to do something right now. And it looks like that guy had no data. That guy had nothing, and he just did the right thing blindly. And the truth is, that's not it at all. It's very educated, and it comes from hard work. Does that need a fancy name? That's just gut instinct. Yeah, they called it Starsense because like the better players do it, and like you really don't see it at the worst players doing it. It doesn't need a special word. I just call it like a sixth sense. It's the subtleties. It's the subconscious telling you something without giving you the details because there's not enough time to be like, your subconscious doesn't have the fucking time to be like, look, conscious, sit down. Let me tell you why this is going to happen. It just goes, bad stuff, seen it before, don't do it. And you're just like, okay, I gotta do this. But yeah. It's kind of weird, though. Sometimes I know I'm about to do something fucking stupid, and I still do it. That's called being an adult, Raccoona. That's, my definition of being an adult is you have the correct decision and the wrong decision. And you consciously pick the wrong decision. Yeah. Also, yeah, we do stupid stuff just because it's fun. I'll do, this happens all the time. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a stupid idea, guys. And it's usually like I jump into them and I tire, right? Fucking, there's like a 60, or no, like an 80% chance it fails. But man, you guys remember the 20% times. Yeah, you don't even think about the 80%. So, I mean, if you do something stupid, don't kick yourself in the ass for it. That shit happens. Yeah, the 20% is the montage, right? Do you got any other questions? Anything else? Because I think I answered that one pretty decently. And I'm still working on the wrist stretches. Last thing I would guess would be, what is it? Before I ask Raccoon, or answer Raccoon's question, Brass Quote says, can you compare Drop Tire to Mercy's Super Jump as a bug? The way game design works, and understand that everything fun that you've played in a game probably was a bug at some point in a game prior to it. How explosions create knockback for you to move faster, that's originally a bug. They didn't patch it. They're like, oh, that's cool, we'll keep it in the game. That's how it's supposed to work. Thus, self-damaging to move faster was created as a feature. They could have easily said back then, it's a bug, and it wouldn't have happened ever again. You know, So the truth is they're both consequences of the game's engine. The problem is do the developers see it as a feature or a bug? They claimed Junkrat's tire was a bug, which is fine. I personally treated it as a bug. I didn't do it. I was like, it's kind of like an exploit. I'm not a fan of it. Super Jump? I don't see Super Jump as a bug. That's just a mastery of the physics engine. It's kind of like everything Doomfist does. You can't call that a bug. That's just abusing an engine, and that's how it is. Raccoona asks, how do you go about killing ego? Or ego, which would be waffles, in which case, fucking A, man. You start stabbing them. Or eat them. Lego my ego. But, as far as your ego, I don't know. I don't know. Like, how did I kill my own ego? It's not dead, that's for damn sure. I still got it. I think the bad way to approach it is just pure robotic and be like, beep, boop, no more ego. I just analyze everything as a robot. I think that's a shit way of going about it. I think it's just as bad as like going full blown ego. Like it's just, I don't like that. For me, says, wouldn't your martial art history take a large credit in humbling you? Yes, but humbling is like, so I have the rare, I don't even want to call it the gift, but I have the rare experience of finding my current teacher who really put me on the right track in the head. I've been through a lot of teachers and I've been taught a lot of things. And the truth is, yeah, like, no matter what you're taught, the funny thing about fighting is that there's a clear fucking way to see if it worked or not, and that's, well, get in a fight. And so, you have to, the thing about a fight is that it's highly volatile. And so, a lot of people don't want to admit this. Even some martial artists don't, but they need to. Fighting is volatile. It doesn't take much to whoop your ass. Really, it doesn't. And I think there's some crazy-ass statistic where it's like, you're going to get hit, like, even the most trained professional fighters. Upper body, 15% chance to get hit. Lower body, 25% chance to get hit. That's a big odd of getting your ass kicked. And all it takes is one of those hits to land. So, it's just this kind of thing where you're just like, when it comes to fighting, it's like, all right, yeah, like I'm okay. I'm training good. Yeah, I'll get my ass whooped a lot. I'm trying though. Like I'm doing my best. I do some things right. I do some things wrong. Like I'm just trying what I can do. That's all you can really ask yourself. And in a fight, there's something about it being physical that like is really ingrained in you. Like it even in a good fight, you're like, ow, I still hurt my hand. Or like, oh man, he still got a good kickoff. Like you're always getting hurt. And it's this introspection of, man, I can hurt this guy really easily, but at the same time, that means I'm the same as him. That means I can get hurt really easily. I probably shouldn't fight. Like it's not a good thing. That's really what the whole self-awareness thing about is in martial arts. But humbling comes along with that, because you're just like, even when you're better than someone and you still get hurt, you're just like, it's one thing to lose a game against, or to win a close game against someone that's bad. You're just like, yeah, like everyone be like, yeah, I just whooped his ass, no biggie. It was close, but I wasn't worried for a minute. But when you're in a fight, and you're just like, yeah, it was a close fight. I'm still limping for the next 2 weeks. Right? Like, you're just like, okay, that was a lot better than that guy, and he's still, like, really injured me, and I'm living with that right now. I guess what I'm really asking is, what kind of mindset do you need to have improved without getting frustrated when things don't go smoothly? I don't know. It's the awareness. It's the awareness that you're not the best or you're perfect, but you're trying to get to there. So when mistakes happen, you're just like, well, that happens. We said it. I said it earlier today. It was the mention of the fighting, where when I was sparring, it's not who's better; it's who makes the least mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The more choices you have to make, the higher chance you have of making a mistake. Everyone makes them. Did you make them or didn't you? Oh, you did? Well, that's human. That's what's going to happen. That's why you lost. So you're just like, okay, well, I got to work on this. It's just understanding when failure happens that it's completely human. And failure isn't bad, I guess, is the core of my strength as a person when it comes to gathering skill. I'm pretty loud and obnoxious, and that comes from, well, if everyone thinks I'm a dumbass, oh, well, whatever, like, I'm a dumbass then. Shit happens. I am definitely dumber than some people out there. I'm smarter than some people. Definitely dumber than some. So it's just trying to be, like, realistic and understanding that all this shit happens. It's like, it happens. I don't know, it's kind of like a laissez-faire attitude. And it's different when you're trying to learn something. And maybe this is why I don't like the whole, like, I don't like the super hyper analytical when people are like, beep, boop, I failed, therefore I will learn from it. Cool, cool, cool. It's fine. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like, you should fail and you don't just be like, well, at least I learned something. I still think that's people, like, covering their fear of failure with something else instead of accepting the failure. I'm like, yeah, I failed, but that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, just try things and fuck up. Learn from them. Keep on trying. Understand that you'll never be perfect. I think that's another big thing. You'll never be perfect. I learned that in martial arts when I just fucking one just everything. But two, it's just be like, oh, too much tension. You need to relax more. The truth is, you could say that to anyone at any point in time of their career, and it would always be true. So it's not like a fair thing to say. But it's understanding that it's not a fair thing, and that's why when you say it, you're like, yes, good point, but also, go fuck yourself. Right? And maybe that's why my method is that tempered medium between beep boop, I'm always learning because I'm always failing, and, like, the more organic type method of, yeah, I failed, yeah, it sucks, I didn't mean to fail, but, you know, I understand that I can't be perfect, but I'm trying to be more perfect, and it's just this constant wibble wobble between things, and I think that's what gives me my strength. And that's what gives me my strength and my perspective in life as well. It's just like, I'll see something, I'm like, yeah, I can see it that way. I can see it a different way too. You know what way's the best? The one that works. Oh, that didn't work that time? I'll try the way that works. Oh, that worked? Cool. Doesn't mean it's going to work every time. Right? And it's, I don't know. It's a really wishy-washy, and some people don't like that. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, I think. Yeah. And yeah, Raccoon, I think that's a good way to put it, is accepting the loss rather than dismissing it. And when people go beep boop, I'm new, therefore it's okay. What they're doing is they're dismissing the loss instead of accepting it. That's why when people do that beep boop shit, when they get to the point after like 4 years and they're like, beep boop, I'm still learning, guys. And I'm like, yeah, you still suck. That's the problem. You can beep boop all you want. You can analyze your shit all you want. But you're just dismissing the loss and you're not actually accepting it. So much of my life has been in beep boop mode. Yeah. And I think that works for a lot of people. Right? They get good at a couple things and they don't have to beep boop that. But for everything else, they beep boop it all day. And even then, I don't even know if I'm right. I'm just kind of making this stuff up. The thing is, when you beep boop, you think you're the best and you're supposed to play perfectly. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into it, but don't ever think there's a proper way to do something. There are ways that work and ways that don't work. Just because someone does something different from you and makes it work doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of people that they're like, you're not supposed to play that way. You're supposed to do that, and you did something weird, and that's why you beat me. But that wouldn't work in a real possession, like professional play. And then you're like, oh no, it actually something super risky does work in professional play. You just got to know when to do it. If you watch, if you just watch any competitive esport, I would specifically say Brood War is a good example of that. Right? Some people be like, oh yeah, you can't rush like that. It'll never work. I'll just do X, Y, and Z. And then you see in a best of 5, someone does it like in a game 3. They'll just do this specific type of rush, and they're just like, they got caught off guard. They're like, well, if he did X, Y, and Z, you would have lost. And you're like, well, he didn't. And it's such a rare build or technique that's why it worked. I'm not going to do it ever again, but it worked that one time. That's what I talk about when we're talking about mix-ups and change-ups and just adding little like pepper stuff into your play. That's the concept. But I hope that answered your question, Raccoon. I gotta go to bed. I appreciate everyone for joining me tonight. And I think we're just going to end the stream. And that's it.